Chapter 889. When Brabus heard Elaine's tearful accusations, she suddenly realized that what Elaine said actually made complete sense. The old lady was constantly accusing Elaine of being an unfilial daughter-in-law, and she also said that Elaine was scolding her, beating her up, and stopping her from moving into the villa at Beacon Top with her. However, the old lady did not look like a person who had been tortured or tormented for a long time. She was very healthy physically and mentally, and she also had a very strong spirit. Furthermore, she was not fragile at all when she hit Elaine. Therefore, even though Elaine might have 10 points deducted for her unfilial piety, the old lady's hatred and revenge for Elaine would be at least 100%. When Brabus saw that the old lady was still hitting Elaine at this time, she immediately felt that something was wrong. She hurriedly said, "Stop hitting her, old lady. I think that you're really being a little too ruthless. No matter what it is, you don't have to beat her to death, right?" Elaine could not help but heave a huge sigh of relief when she heard Brabus's words. She had already been locked up in this cell at the detention center for the past 2 days, and she could obviously see that Brabus was the old lady's support and backup in this cell. The old lady would not be afraid to scold, insult, and beat her up as long as she had Brabus's support and backing. However, as long as Brabus was no longer supporting the old lady, or if Brabus started to feel sorry for herself, then she would definitely stop the old lady from hitting or torturing her anymore. At that time, Elaine would finally have a better life in this cell. As she thought about this, Elaine continued crying as she said, "Sister Brabus, you're a sensible person, so you can tell at a single glance that the old lady is the one who wants me dead. I didn't even do anything to her at all. If you don't take any action to stand up for me, then I'll really be beaten up and tortured to death by this cruel and heartless old lady." Lady Richard was a little impatient and she hurriedly blurted out, "Brabus, you shouldn't believe in any of the nonsense that this woman is saying. There isn't any truth in her words at all." At this time, Brabus said, "Is there really no truth in her words at all? I don't know both of you well enough, but I'm certainly not blind. I can obviously see that you're really strong and healthy for an old person, and you've never suffered any injuries or physical torture in your life. So, why are you treating her this way, and why do you want her to die so badly?" The old lady was stunned for a moment. She suddenly realized that she might have gone a little overboard. Even though she has not fully relieved all of the hatred in her heart, her behavior had already broken Brabus's balance. Even Brabus was starting to feel that she was a little too much now. If she did not do anything to fix the situation, then the balance in Brabus's heart would definitely be tilted towards Elaine. That way, the situation would not look good for her at all. As she thought about this, Lady Richard broke into tears before she pointed at Elaine as she started complaining, "Brabus, you shouldn't be fooled by this wicked woman." As she spoke, Lady Richard's voice was trembling in anger as she said sternly, "Do you really think that she's a good person just because she has never raised her hand to hit me before? Do you know what she has done to my family? Back then, my son had a very good girlfriend who was also his first love. She was also the most perfect and ideal candidate as my future daughter-in-law. That girl was really beautiful and elegant, and she was so many times better compared to this stinky, shameless woman. At that time, my son was already preparing to get married to his girlfriend immediately after their graduation ceremony, but do you know what happened right before their graduation?" Brabus had a surprised expression on her face as she asked, "What happened?" Lady Richard pointed at Elaine before she said angrily, "This stinky and shameless woman knew that our family was pretty well off at that time. Therefore, she had been hoping to marry into our family so that she could live the life of a rich young mistress. She took advantage of my son when he was drunk and had sex with him before she told my son's girlfriend about it without having any sense of shame at all. My son's girlfriend was so heartbroken that she broke up with my son and went abroad all alone. My son was eventually forced to marry this shameless bitch that he didn't even love at all. Ever since then, it has already been more than 20 years and my son has never been happy for even a single day. My son had such a miserable and unfortunate marriage all thanks to this shameless woman."